What's up, guys? This is Tom Burkhardt from car-revs-daily out in the 2016 Lincoln MKX all-wheel drive EcoBoost. This Lincoln is one of the best American cars I've ever driven in my whole life. It might just be one of the best ones ever, bar none. It is so outstanding. So let's dive into to what makes the Lincoln so great, sort of like, and we'll talk about some of the great performance options on this particular MKX all-wheel drive, including the $2,000 EcoBoost engine. Oops, I was shifting manually. Shift paddles as standard, amazing. And $650 adaptive steering and $1,300 21-inch alloy wheels with Pirelli Scorpion Verdes, which is like their high performance SUV tire. So we'll talk about we just talked about some. Ooh, there's a Gallardo Spider. Oh no, it's a Gallardo Spider. Okay, so we'll talk about pricing and where this Lincoln comes in with all its options at the end. But quick brief: 48K base, 64K as tested price, and just a really great car. But the first thing we want to dive into is, why is this Lincoln so good? With the best Lincoln we've ever driven, bar none, and a real rival for the X5, Mercedes GLE class, Lexus RX, and even Porsche Cayenne. Seriously, it's that good. This is a terrific machine. And then we'll talk about the exterior a little bit, and maybe talk about the interior luggage, maybe some features if we could keep on topic. So okay, so the 2016 Lincoln MKX is all new and comes with available front-wheel drive or standard front-wheel drive, or available all-wheel drive for both of its engine configurations. Those are an atmospheric 3.7 liter V6 as the base engine, or an upgraded 2.7 liter twin turbocharged V6 like we are testing today. And that is a $2,000 option that makes the car about a second and a half quicker to 60 miles an hour, and just revolutionizes its sportiness in almost every way. It's an outstanding engine. This 2.7 liter EcoBoost twin turbo makes 335 horsepower and 380 foot-pounds of torque, which are stout numbers. Those are stout. You really feels it. Really very quick. I'd estimate like a 6.1, maybe 5.8 second sprint to 60 miles an hour, and a terrific passing power all the time. 6-speed automatic transmission here with the paddle shifters, as we mentioned, and drive controls for you've got just the push button PRNDL here, and then of course we have S, which engages the sportiest settings for the steering, suspension, throttle map, transmission, and engine itself. And then we also have drive control in the menus over here. Little launch. Feels so well balanced. Like there's a lot more power going to the back than I ever remember from any SUV from Lincoln or Ford in the past. And that sort of balanced feel really improves the car in every way. But notably in those launch starts, where it's not sort of pulling and chugging, it really just sort of pounces off the line like the best X5s and Porsches. You know, we were tempted to compare this Lincoln to the Macan because you know, it's a little bit closer than some of like the 180K prices you can get for the Cayenne, but really this is big. This MKX is a large machine. It is their second largest SUV, right below the Navigator, and despite seating just 5 people, it's huge. It's really big. Makes a big priority of backseat luxury, luggage space, and overall, you know, general scale and size. But you know, is at the same time is vastly smaller than any kind of like Tahoe or Expedition type SUV, and gets much better mileage, is easier to drive, and more fun for most drivers. So it really is, I mean, it really is a Cayenne rival in terms of how large it is, because the Macan is kind of small inside, and is more about the same scale as the Lincoln MKC, which of course starts from like about $32,000, and is available with various turbo engines, but really is their sort of premium compact crossover. Whereas this is a full-on mid-size premium SUV, and it's terrific. It's so nice. So with those drive modes, like we mentioned, you really have a great level of control in how you want this Lincoln to behave. Like in its comfort modes, for example, the suspension is super chill. The steering is lighter and but still pretty quick, and you know, it really is just sort of comfort optimized in every way. Whereas like in S, like if we go to full S mode, this thing becomes like, it's a little bit beastie. It really likes to hold gears, really kicks down very enthusiastically to any throttle jabs. This will be our last roundabout of this roundabout. And you know, in that S mode, this thing is very sporty. You would never expect this from a Lincoln. It really makes some progress. So I love it. I love the way it drives. So that, of course, is a big vote of confidence for the new MKX. I'm sure they're all terrific. This one in particular, though, does have some really desirable, those performance options that we mentioned, like that EcoBoost and adaptive steering, and then the big, the 21-inch alloys, which provide a wider contact patch and just more stable handling basis for all of its maneuvers. But really, beyond that, I mean, this car has $14,000 or $15,000 in options above its $48K base. But a lot of those are like adaptive safety. We have like 2 or 3 safety packages that in all total about $4,000. We also have the luxury package on this car, which includes adaptive LED low and high beams. They're beautiful, they're amazing, and they should be because it's $4,000. That luxury package also includes the Revel Ultima audio system, which has some really beautiful sort of like a real authentic aluminum speaker grills, a la Burmeister and Bowers and Wilkins. So they're definitely like up in the league there. And we also like even have, you know, special knobs for this next generation Lincoln. There's like a unique feel and a unique polished alloy or brushed alloy surface for those. It's very good. Authentic leather wrapping here. We've got like premium terracotta colored leather. This isn't like the fanciest Windsor leathers that are available on some Lincoln black label. Sorry, I kept wanting to call it black pack. It's not as nice as those Windsor ones, but it's still really good. And the only thing I would skip on this one is like the wood trim, which, you know, which is what it is. It looks really nice in this color scheme, which is bronze fire metallic outside. It's $500 option. And then inside we got like a terracotta as the color. And it's a really nice premium sort of saddle brown. It's very beautiful. Giant standard panoramic moonroof in here. Not sure if you can see, but really huge. And listen to the sound it makes when it's opening. It sounds like a jet. How cool is that? Sorry, I gotta get around this guy. All right, buddy. So anyway, the moonroof opens over the roof and creates this giant. I love that like airlock sound. But anyway, it creates really giant glass area, a giant open area. You could really do like safari photos if you wanted to out of that moonroof. It's that big. And it has a giant glass panel for the back passengers as well, but that one does not open. They'll be plenty happy, however. Really outstanding cabin in every way. So let's talk about why I love this cabin so much, because I know you're just looking at the center stack and you're like, it looks very Fordish. I know, I understand what you're saying, but trust me, there's logic to these push button controls. They're very easy to use, and they take up no space versus having like a rising column knob, or like a rising knob like Jaguars, or sort of an old school column shifter, you know, like a big rig, like a big truck, not a big rig. But anyway, so those. It may look familiar, but I'm telling you, Lincoln has done such a good job. We've got a black headliner, really chunky steering wheel, power operated tilt and telescope here, huge range of movement. You can go all the way in, all the way up. So there is a big range of movement for the steering wheel, and the driving position is outstanding, but I do wish that the wheel was like a little more canted. You can see it's still sort of canted up a little bit, but that is a very minor gripe. This is the best forward drive position I've ever experienced. And that power operated wheel comes, you know, is a big part of that. But another huge portion of that are the $1,500, oh my God, $1,500 22-way power driver's seat. This thing is redonkulous. It has an extendable squab. It has an adjustable, in addition to the seat's recline function, so you can have the seat reclined, and then you can also lift the back up here. I gotta show this. It's pretty cool. So you could also lift the back of the seat. It's not working very well. Anyway. So that's why we try not to move the camera while we're rolling. Anyway, but this upper part of the seat moves, which I haven't ever seen in anything outside of the BMW 7 Series with its crazy seats. We've got power adjustable headrests. I mean, it is so comfortable. And so you get it in this great driving position, and then you tap one of its knobs, or one of its, it's what would normally be just like a lumbar inflatable pillow, and then it brings you to this menu here on the central display, and you have all the controls for every different section. So we have middle lumbar, lower lumbar. We can blow this way up, or we've got like, okay, so here we've got the side bolsters. So we've got those pretty inflated, but you can really make those be really rib hugging and really supportive, and similar for the base bolsters, which once the seat is in its dedicated position, then it uses inflatable air bladders to adjust the actual contours of the seat, and it works. It's so comfortable. It's really great. I'm thrilled to see the extendable seat base in particular on a Lincoln model, because that was a big complaint we had about the MKC, is that you're just sort of sitting there like, you know, you're not really like ensconced in the vehicle and able to take a really commanding, sporty and cool driving position, because the seat base squab is like too short for my weird body. But these seats are terrific. Definitely worth the $1,500. So that is just $1,500 for the 22-way power driver's seat. The passenger seat, I think, is like a 12 or 14-way power control, and it is also very comfortable. But you know, the more adjustments, the better, and this car makes the most of it. And then the seats get even better. Watch this. So you can go to massage function, and you can have high, low, and then the seat becomes sort of a dynamic, you know, where it's slowly and almost silently sort of inflating and deflating its different pods all around. And for long trips, I mean, I'm telling you, it really reduces like back soreness, butt ache, I mean, any kind of stuff that you might have had if in regular seats after sitting there for a while. The massage is not like, it's not like a shiatsu roller, but the fact that it is moving the seat, it just increases blood flow, I guess, and helps resist like any kind of you know, any Lumina butt, as we call it in my family. When we took a long trip and had a rental Chevy Lumina in the 90s, and my dad like couldn't walk for like a year. He had like major back problems. Anyway, so that you will definitely not have that problem in this Lincoln. It is so comfortable. Love the way it drives. Is extremely quiet, and rides super smoothly, but with excellent straight ahead tracking and very eager turn in. Eager. So we're back in D. We can go to S, and then it becomes even more eager. I mean, it's really sharp. The steering is really feelsome. The shift paddles are incredible. I think they should be standard on every car. And they really let you, you know, do engine braking or just have a little bit more precise control over what is going on in the transmission at all times, and that's just super handy. It's really a well-balanced, well-judged vehicle in all of its drive manners, and you know, combined with the luxury inside, and it's like very affordable pricing. I think it's way better than the Lexus RX, in my opinion. Sorry, Lexus RX devotees, and sorry, you know, I don't know. It's hard to sort of quantify exactly why it is better than the RX in isolation, but the chassis feels significantly more rigid. You feel like you have more control of the car in sporty drive maneuvers, better steering feel, a wider, lower sense for the vehicle, and still that same really easy, parkable, efficient, you know, city-friendly dimensions all around. So that's all really outstanding stuff, and it makes the RX in particular feel just extremely front drive, even in its all-wheel drive versions, because this car is, the MKX all-wheel drive really has this what feels like a terrifically advanced system that is sending more power than ever to the back axle more of the time, giving it sort of that grounded, you know, unflusterable all-wheel drive road manners that, you know, people have loved in Subarus and Audis for so long. So I really love the MKX. So what is the missing variable? What are the missing variables in this car being a total X5 and Cayenne beater? Okay, so the first one is exterior styling, and the second one is brand appeal. Let's talk about the exterior styling. So MKX wears sort of similar shapes and themes as you have seen on Lincoln cars, like even like the MKT town car livery vehicle, and most recently the MKS. But really, it's much more advanced than that. The twin wing grille has navigator style like beveled edges on the bottom, so it's a little bit more masculine, a little bit just chunkier, and less of sort of that it's less of like a, you know, flying graceful wings, and more just like this kind of masculine scowl of a face. It looks cool. It looks really cool. And we actually were able to get some pictures of this car like at sunset, or at a funny time of day, and for the first time was able to see that between those horizontal grille slats, which are pretty dark finished actually for this 2016 MKX, I mean, those honestly just look like air slicers. It looks like a giant, you know, sort of industrial machine meant for like slicing air. So it looks, I have so much more respect for this car after seeing it in person. It has really short overhangs. These giant 21-inch wheels fill out the wells spectacularly. Really shallow glass house that helps the car feel really just low and mean and sporty, like the best proportions that you can imagine. Sort of like, I mean, it really recalls like the Jaguar, the upcoming Jaguar F-Pace, like pretty dramatically, and in its sort of proportions and stance. And that's a huge thing. I mean, it really looks rear drive, and it is very, very convincingly premium. And we've got standard HID by Xenons for the MKX all-wheel drive, as well as standard LED DRLs and standard full LED brake lamp. It's like a full width tail light bar that also has reverse lamps and turn signals and LEDs. And